160 international law professors have just signed an appeal to the international community where they describe the violations of international law happening in Gaza. In this appeal, they describe 8 points, which are the points on which they all agree. The original is in French. This video is in English. Let's go. Number 1. The Israeli government has long denied the rights of the Palestinian people, one of the last peoples under foreign domination who have never been able to fully exercise their right to self-determination. Number 2, the attacks of October 7, 2023 constitute serious violations of international human rights law and international humanitarian law. Such acts committed on Israeli territory are undeniably war crimes and crimes against humanity that cannot be justified by any cause. 3. In the face of these attacks originating from within an occupied territory, Israel could not claim the right to self-defense within the meaning of Article 51 of the United Nations Charter, but as the International Court of Justice recalled in its advisory opinion of July 9, 2004 on the wall, the Jewish state retains the right and even the duty to respond to such acts with a view to protecting the lives of its citizens. These measures must nevertheless remain within the limits of the applicable international law. 4. In its response, Israel has committed and continues to commit numerous serious violations of international human rights law and international humanitarian law. Such violations committed in connection with an armed conflict may also constitute war crimes. Particular attention should be paid to the deliberate targeting of the civilian population and of the use of starvation as a method of warfare against civilians. These acts are also being committed in the context of a systematic and widespread attack against Palestinian civilians and may therefore constitute crimes against humanity. 5. With regard to genocide, some of us have questioned whether there is a specific intention to destroy all or part of the Palestinian population in Gaza. But today, we agree at the very least that the Israeli government's genocidal intent has crystallized in the Humanitarian City Project, which follows the blocking of aid to Gaza and the establishment of a so-called alternative mechanism through the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. The best Israeli internationalists have reacted strongly to this project. In an unprecedented statement, they in turn openly considered the possibility of acts constituting genocide. We refer more broadly to recent reports by Israeli NGOs, B'Tselem and Physicians for Human Rights. These reports are in addition to the substantial reports published by several international NGOs, notably Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch, and the warnings issued by UN bodies. In any case, questions surrounding the classification of genocide cannot be used to attempt to minimize the seriousness of the crimes committed or the seriousness of other classifications that are no longer in dispute. There is no exclusivity or hierarchy in the crimes recognized under international criminal law. 6. Beyond Gaza, numerous violations of international human rights law and international humanitarian law are being committed against the Palestinian civilian population in the occupied West Bank. The forced expulsion of populations, the destruction of villages, murder, torture and ill treatment, and arbitrary detention are all acts that constitute the most serious criminal offenses. 7. All of these violations of key instruments of conventional and general international law are likely to engage the responsibility of the states and individuals involved before the competent national and international courts. The parties to the Rome Statute are therefore required to cooperate with the International Criminal Court in the investigation and prosecution initiated in the situation in the State of Palestine. 8. The norms of international law are not only erga omnes, this means applicable to all states and in which all have a legal interest in ensuring compliance, but also jus cogens norms. Consequently, all states not only have an obligation not to aid or assist in such violations, but also an obligation to cooperate to bring such violations to an end by lawful means. More specifically, states have an obligation to respect and ensure respect for international humanitarian law. Under the Genocide Convention, states have an obligation to prevent genocide, but also to punish perpetrators of genocide and those who are guilty of direct and public incitement to genocide. These obligations apply to Israel, but also to all other states of the international community. And any act that would have the effect of aiding, facilitating, or providing the means for the commission of crimes with knowledge of the facts, such as the delivery of arms to Israel, constitutes complicity in the crimes committed. The signatories go on to remind us that the respect of international law is required for peace, which is another way of saying without justice, there is no peace. This analysis matters. It is non-partisan. It is neutral in exactly the same way that we expect the referee in a sports game to be neutral. They are not going to side with either of the teams, but if somebody fouls, they will call the foul, whoever has done it. Yeah,